You, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, y'all stand.
Face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You bow your head with me. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for another day. Just let us always count our blessings that we can get to see another day on this earth, God. Just thank you for the opportunity to serve you, the people of this county, God. I pray for the first responders that they go home safely to their family after their shifts, God, that they know that they're protected by you, God. Be with us as we make the decisions for the county over the next couple of months, the budgets for our departments, God. Just help us to work with those around us for the betterment of our citizens and our employees, God. Just give us guidance and wisdom in everything that we do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, any public comment? Oh. No, okay, great. All right, item 3 is to approve the minutes from our previous commissioners court meeting.
There were no corrections or additions to the regular meeting of June 12th, 2023.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 12th meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 4 is to consider and or approve the county auditor's report.
I sent that out.
Emailed it out.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the county auditor's tabulated report.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Anybody have any questions on the bills?
I just had one.
Mhm.
I had Pam change kind of the reports that she sent to you and put it all on one report. Do you
Yes.
like that better, or did you like the others?
No, I like it better. Like
Okay.
this, less is more.
Yes, kind of what I felt like.
Yeah.
And it,
Just read.
so she was doing a report for each kind of check run that she did.
Right.
And so if she happened to miss one, then this way there's no leaving anything out.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's- Sounds good. Looks good.
I just wanted to make sure that it made sense to you guys.
Yes. Anyone have any questions on the bills? Okay, hear much.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of the bills.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, Amy, do you have any payroll?
I have some changes. We have Walter Schaefer. The separation date was March 28th. We didn't separate him for the reason that they were wanting to have him as a temporary part-time, but he had not gone to the court yet to ask for that. So we went ahead and just terminated him, Walter Schaefer. So, because there's not a position for a temporary part-time,
Who's he
there's
work
only
for?
one position for a part-time airport,
Oh.
an airport, yes, so. Larry Blake, Mango, separation 5/31, Haley Bostwick, separation date 6/13 in the jail, and Justin Foley, separation date 6/26 in the sheriff's office.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, item 8 is our department head reports. And giving reports today are Road and Bridge, Dwayne, and Emergency Management. Jerry, Dwayne? You can scoot that, yeah. Right in front of Amy.
Walk out. Amy.
No, it's good. You're good.
Okay, at Road and Bridge, we put the stuff we've been working on, project we had going on the Crash Ranch Road. That was a big project, a long ways away. I finally did get that finished up. I still got several more bleaching jobs pending. We got most of the county property sprayed, most of the buildings and stuff. I think we like the parking lot across from the courthouse. A little bit of spraying over there, and I got one water boom we like to spraying on. We've been blading roads multiple times. Seems like every time we get them bladed, it rains again, start all over again. We fixed multiple washouts across the county. We've installed several new culverts in the Fritch area. I don't know what's going on out there, but everybody's buying a lot. So we planed cattle guard. We finally got started on mowing operations. Been working on our seal coat equipment, getting ready to go. And we did get our gravel haul to do one seal coat project on County Road C in 27. Project's coming up and we're going to continue mowing. We have to install a new spread roller on the tip spreader, which is going to be a pretty good job before we can start seal coating. We're going to start patching, getting roads ready to seal coat. Still have several washouts to fix, have ditches to clean out, have several culverts that are going to have to be replaced. We've got several categories to clean. Kind of some projects coming up. And then as far as the seal coat projects go this year, we're going to do County Road C in 27, which is about 3.7 miles. We're going to do about 1.5 miles on adobe walls. We're going to shoot the other half of Bugby that we did not shoot last year. We shot about half of it last year. We're going to try to get the other half this year. Got one little section out in the golf edition that came apart. It's going to be tore out and redone. And when I do that, I may seal coat that entryway going into the airport. Oh, just from our property down to where the hot mix starts. And the
Is that from the county airport?
Yeah, right from that sign across the road.
Back.
Because that part and the part I'm gonna tear out in golf is just, I have to buy so much asphalt. I can't get just enough to do that.
Yeah.
Something pretty close there that I can tie on to and at least get enough I can heat 800 or 900 gallons so I can heat it and put it out.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That's kind of what's going on in Road and Bridge.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate you.
Oh, I have a question.
Just
So on regards to the hail damage we received on the county barn,
yes, sir.
have you heard from TAC?
I have not. She was gonna
Okay.
present that today.
We have to,
Well,
it's on the agenda.
it's on the agenda to talk about.
Oh, well, I was, so the question, not about whether the insurance or any of that, are, when we talked, all those,
I would say no.
so all of those roofers just showing up and
Yes, sir.
stuff. Did one of them climb up on top of our county barn without anybody there? Do you know if that happened?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not that I know of, but some people went up on top while we were there.
While y'all were there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering if I need to call that roofer and say, hey, you have to get our permission before you get back on that stuff. So,
Yeah, no, it's, they were there with the guys were there when a couple of them came.
well, one of the roofers, and I'm not gonna say who it was, they called the appraiser from Lubbock that worked for TAC directly. And so it was just odd.
Okay, the only ones I talked to personally was Mesa.
Oh, okay.
That guy from Mesa called me back and he just told me what damage there was. And
Okay.
he said there, as far as appearance damage, that most of that wouldn't be covered.
Oh,
But he said on the seams where the metal seamed together, where it's hit there and buckled the seam, that is covered.
oh,
So
okay.
he said we do have some coverable damage.
Okay.
But I told him we would figure out what route we're gonna take and go.
Okay.
They wasn't getting up there before TAC was notified, were they?
Yes, they got up that day. Well, everybody in Fritch got roofers that same day. Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy deal. So
Yeah,
They're very,
they were very aggressive this
aggressive.
year. Yeah.
I'd say no.
Yeah, we didn't know till afterwards when some of the pictures started rolling in. I was like, oh, okay. Hey, you got some roof damage? I'm like, okay, did someone call you?
They-
Well,
We need to be calling them. They don't need to
Yeah,
be calling us.
exactly.
they
Thank you,
hadn't had
Wayne.
anything to do in about 6 or 7 years.
Thanks, Wayne.
I don't think I'd like.
Okay,
I know.
and then Jerry's gonna give a report on emergency management.
Okay, in the
Kind of busy.
emergency management world now, it's been interesting this last couple of weeks with a lot of our severe weather that's come through. I'm sure everybody's aware of that. But kind of just some other things that we're working on, emergency management. One of the things is our active 911 alerting system. We're working with Carson County, Pantex has just recently came into an MOU with Pantex on, they've expanded their area of response or their responsive notification if something were to happen out of the plant. So the south side of Hutchinson County is actually in that notification area now. So we actually get to work a little more with Pantex because of that agreement. So our active 911 alerting stuff is we're kind of working on flowing that back and forth now so we can get notifications from them and they can also see some notifications that are happening in Hutchinson County. Another thing with our our radio system that we're working on or continually working on with our radio system. Our Stinnett Tower, 2 weeks ago, we had a storm that come through and then we got a lightning strike at the tower. The radio system did very well how it was supposed to in the lightning event, but the lightning strike knocked out the air conditioning in the tower. So myself and Eddie Watson and Ben came out there and helped us one day get a portable unit put into the building, but nothing seemed to be keeping up and was blowing breakers. So we ended up going out there and installing a window unit inside of this Connex building. Was quite a task, but we finally got it done. And it's keeping the building cool enough that our radio system is staying online until we can get the mini split unit repaired. Parts have been ordered somewhere overseas. We're just waiting for them to get it. The warranty is supposedly picking up the air conditioning. So just waiting on parts. Continually working on our emergency operations plan. Emergency operations plan with the county is one of those things that we're required to do through TDM and FEMA. So we're constantly updating that anytime there's a change in the position and one of those positions in the EOP have to update in the plan, like mayors, city managers, everywhere in the county, any change in a position like that, we have to update it. So constantly working on that. Still working on our Everbridge system. It's our mass notification system with it in the county, updating and purging old records and putting in new records. The city of Borger had just recently put Everbridge signups in their utility billing, so they're sending those out. We're getting about 50 or so a week additional signups for Everbridge right now. I think a lot of us probably due to this weather that's going on. I guess the thing I would like to push with Everbridge is it really is probably the primary notification platform that the county offers to the citizens of the county to make sure that they can get these notifications of severe weather. It's a free app for everybody in the county to sign up for it. They can get these notifications almost immediately that the National Weather Service issues these alerts. They can get these on their phone. People will talk about sirens and they talk about the application for those, but it is a kind of a small window. Sirens are something that we're going to probably be bringing up and talking about here in the next. Hopefully by next commissioners court, we'll have some other information that I'm going to present on possible ARP projects for sirens that we.
Are those sirens all electric? So if your power goes out, the siren won't go off.
So some of them are depending on where you live and how that
okay.
So Borger has upgraded most of their sirens to the new federal signal Commander 1 sirens. Those sirens are actually solar panel. They have a solar panel and they have battery operated. So those are not connected to the electrical grid. And what happens is when those sirens are every morning at 8 o'clock, it's the control panel actually sends a notification out to the siren and tests the batteries, and then all that information comes back in it. It'll let us know on our phone. They send me a notification. We did a test, and this battery and this battery is low or whatever, and we can get those batteries replaced.
So if they've got a solar panel on them, they don't work off electricity.
Right.
Off grid. Yeah.
Completely on battery operated.
Oh, okay.
And then all the radios and everything in them are still battery operated, and they just charge through solar.
I always wondered.
The nets are hooked up to the electrical grid, so those are radio operated. So you have to have a UHF radio when key that, VHF radio when key that VHF radio up. Sends a signal out to the siren, tells the siren to operate. There's a timer on it, sets it off for 3 minutes. After that 3 minutes, it's either we have to keep it again, set off the siren again, or we.
Jerry, how many sirens are in the county? You told me 6 or is it 5?
Five.
Okay, I was confused. And how many of those are needing attention?
Oh,
All of them, all 5 of them. Well, and I kind of knew that, when I've talked about it. I wanted to, as you know, me and you have talked to some of our citizens in precinct 2.
mhm.
And some of those sirens have been down since the 90s.
The one in Arroyo Verde has been down since 1992. It's the last time that I've had I've had information that it was operational. And the reason why it was never brought up to back to the original system it was on. So the city of Fritz has a manual activation system. Somebody has to draw the straw and stay up at the fire station and hit the button for a tornado. And it's not remoted like Stonette's or the city of Warren. That system back in 1992, I believe that's when the Fritz tornado and all that was going on. That there was some damage to telephone lines and some power lines, things like that. Well, what I was told is during that instance, there was a lot of telephone lines that were damaged, and they had to come in and look at replacing the telephone line to that specific siren. It wasn't done then, and it was a couple years before me, even the guy before me, Dan Richards, I said he looked into getting that line replaced, and it has to be a dedicated copper phone line between the bridge signaling, the button, and the siren itself. So looking at running a copper line from Fritz Fire Department to Arroyo Verde. He said they talked to the phone company, they were looking at putting in that line, and it would cost the county about $1,100 a month to install that one. So they opted out of doing that with some of the new technology coming out, whether alert radios and applications on the phones and things like that. They opted not to put that one on the system. The rest of them within the city of Fritz, or the Fritz Fire Department tests them during their fire department station meetings. We have one that's right on the edge of like Sage Mesa area that is operational. It does work. And then city of State also tests those during their fire department meetings. So I don't know if they test them every time, but I know that we set up the sirens, I believe 2 weeks ago in Stonette with the radio operation. And all the sirens worked except for the Scotts Acres one. And it looks like that one's going to be a fuse. We had one in Golf Course Edition as well. That was also a fuse on that one. But we got those replaced.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Anything else on sirens? It's a hot topic right now. So.
Yeah, my phone rings twice a week about sirens. So
That's whenever it hits, it hits. Let's see, our microwave backhaul system is up and operational, so we have that able to switch over in case we lose fiber optic connection, which we've had several times between the courthouse and the city of Border, the radio towers. So if we lose fiber optic, we can switch that over to backhaul and we can develop our radio system. Our camera system, I'm kind of sad this Friday when we had a lightning strike on our lake camera. Lost our lake camera this Friday. And which is, these cameras are really beneficial, especially when we're operating in the EOC, because we get to actually like in the EOC, we're scanning these around. And I brought a picture of kind of one we had the other day. It's the tornado warning storm we had coming through Stonette. So you see where it gives you kind of the advantage to look and say, you know, they might be sending out a tornado warning on it, or we can set it with these cameras actually look at the storm, look at the base and the storm to see what it's actually putting out at that time. But yeah, our camera in Stonette, we lost the Stonette camera several months back. We purchased a new one for that. We're just waiting for the install on that one. But now, since we have a courthouse camera, we might switch that one out, put this one on the lake instead of putting it at the Stonette tower. Since we have one here in Stonette still, we might be swapping some.
Is there any way to protect those cameras, like put some kind of a fuse system in there?
So we have these things called polyphasers that we put on them to try to help, but there's so much. That right there, it actually blew out the outlets on the inside of the building. It exploded it. I mean, everything was
Yeah.
well grounded and just a
There's a lot of
lot of juice.
force coming in. Yeah, just like out in the oil field, it'll ruin a panel. It'll just ruin the whole panel.
Yeah, it was, like I said, inside the box, all the outlets and everything was completely
Yeah.
blown out. Further working with, still working with the LEPC, Tokai Emergency Management for their situation they have going on out there. We've had here recently, Tokai shut down their one of their stacks to do some updates and maintenance because we had a lot of complaints through TCEQ on some of their emissions events. We've been working directly with them. We have a meeting every Friday with them, with Tokai and TCEQ and emergency management. And in those meetings, we discuss what they're doing and what their I guess their projection is on trying to even get their facility back up and running. They brought people in from Denmark to inspect the facility to make sure that it was it had meeting some of its requirements or how it was actually built. And they found a couple of things so far and they're working through those. So you'll see every once in a while, you'll see it fire back up and they'll start putting out some things, but they're still working on it and testing it out right now. So hopefully we'll have another update in the next LEPC meeting, which will be the end of this month. Or July.
Or all the plants like Phillips and Nutrient and all of them, they all tied in together in one area. So if one of them is emitting stuff, it makes them all look bad. Is that right?
Well, it's so TCEQ, anytime that there's an opacity limit or a release of certain hazardous chemicals above their permitted amounts, then yeah, they'll send that notification to TCEQ, and then everybody has a permitted allowable amount. So whenever it hits that, everybody has to send in a notification. So
Yeah.
we get quite a few of those. And I said, you can go on the TCEQ website and actually look at the reports and see what they're
Mhm.
what's actually being mentioned here. It's some interesting stuff.
Ignorance is what.
Perryton, on that, we had 18 of our first responders in Hutchinson County that actually responded to Perryton the day of, right after, or a couple of days after that. We had several teams that went up there and swapped out. So, yeah, let's say 18 of our first responders went out there, went to Perryton to help out in that situation they're still dealing with and will be dealing with for a long time. Last Friday was just a DPS from closing down Highway 136 on a traffic investigation. I was closed down for about 10 or 15 minutes. Got that open pretty quick. And one big thing that we're working on right now is coming up for this weekend is the 1st of July fireworks show at the lake. We're in works with DPS, TxDOT, Sheriff's Office, everybody. We had a meeting this Thursday to discuss more of the traffic plan and this traffic nightmare.
Yeah, one way in, one way out.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
so we're working on, getting that put together and planning for that this Saturday. That's not that. Any questions?
Y'all have been busy. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gary.
Thank you, Jerry.
Sure.
Okay, item 9 is to consider and or approve the resignation of Lee Bergen, our airport manager. So Lee submitted his resignation effective July the 15th. The job has been posted on the website, and I believe the posting is till July the 5th. Is that right? Do I hear a motion to accept Lee's resignation?
I'll make a motion to accept this resignation.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Item 10 is to consider and or approve insurance claims received due to the hailstorm. Alicia, what do you got?
The road and bridge, and this is really my first go around with hail, and some hail can just keep going,
Right.
I didn't know if we wanted to wait until kind of the hail season was over before we actually filed the claims with TAC. I did reach out to TAC and they said that we could file claims at the county's discretion. So I didn't know if we wanted to hold off on actually filing the claims. Some vehicles, if we decided that we didn't want to pay the $500 deductible and just let it ride, or
Is it 500 every vehicle?
every event.
Do we have?
So this is, the ones that I've received were three pickup claims for road and bridge, and so I figured that's really y'all's decision. Probably the sheriff's department, they need to make the decision whether they want to cough up the $500 deductible for their damage. And then we've got the building for precinct 2.
The claims can be made at any time. That doesn't mean you have to have it fixed immediately. So we'll go ahead and turn in the claim and have the adjusters look at them. See what they come up with.
But if
I
they,
disagree with that.
they're gonna, assess the claim that we have now and give us money to fix now. And if another storm comes through and gives more damage,
And then you're not
They
gonna
will
get the
amend
money
it.
for that. That's the way it works.
They'll amend the claim.
you know,
We just have to have them come back out here and review it
Just have to
again.
come look at it again.
Well,
understanding that
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't.
would be out another deductible because it's a different
But
event.
if
I
you,
wouldn't, the only thing I wouldn't do is have contractors looking at the roofs before we turn this into tax. Because I just don't, when you get ready to go bid this out, then you call your contractors, they can come look at it.
If you make a claim and you don't have damage though, then that's gonna hurt us in the claim world.
It doesn't. This is what TAC does. They come look at all of our buildings anytime we.
Do they do it just kind of like just as an adjuster?
Yeah, but they'll go through every building in the county if you want them to, just to make sure we're not damaged. That's not a claim. That's just an inspection.
Right.
Adjuster.
So you can do an incident only report.
Just let them come look and verify they're okay.
Do they do the vehicles too?
They
Yes.
can, yeah.
Yes, we could. I don't know if they will, if it's an incident only report, I don't know that they will send an adjuster. Maybe if you actually request. This is kind of my first rodeo with
Mhm.
hail damage.
I'm leaning towards waiting until the end of the
Do we
season.
have any other vehicles?
I know that.
Jerry, didn't you have
Angelica-
some?
Angelica mentioned
Mhm.
some, I think the sheriff had some. Um,
So. Sorry,
And I
is,
think, didn't you say, Dwayne, that in the past, they haven't really filed claims for hail damage on?
No, we never had full coverage before.
It was never insured until the
Right.
last year.
Got turned in habit. I don't necessarily want to get them fixed.
Right.
Because two of them are not bad at all. One of them got a little bit bigger dents on it, but I didn't know how y'all wanted to do it as far as.
did it get the windshields or anything, or did it get the windshields? or-
No, we just got dents.
Yeah, if it's just cosmetic, it really doesn't matter.
Two of them got. kind of on the size.
And that's kind of where I was at. I didn't know if y'all wanted to make the decision since it is basically cosmetic. I know that, Angelica's, I think hers is a little worse because she did say that, it chipped the paint down to,
Right.
so it probably needs to be fixed to keep it from chipping more and rusting. I haven't received anything from her yet.
so if you wait and you contact them later and you put the date when the damage was, is that gonna affect it any?
No.
Okay.
I emailed, because I emailed to ask TAC whether it was better to wait or if you needed to do it. They said that you need to do it after the event, but it can be done at the county's discretion. So you can submit the claim when you want to.
The building has, I think, up to 2 years. Any buildings.
And this is more on, buildings are kind of different. This was more on the vehicle side of the questions that I had, because, a few dents. Is it worth the five? I don't know if it's gonna even cost $500 to fix it. I mean,
So when they issue a payment towards repair or whatever, do they deduct the 500 out of, so we're not actually putting $500?
well, yeah,
Just
we are,
deduct it.
because
Because when we pay
if it
for it,
costs $2,500 to fix it, we only get 2,000, so we've got to come up with the other 500.
Oh, okay, so if we're filing a claim, like Dwayne said, he's really not needing them repaired. Just thought if that would be
Right, and so if.
something we
if
wanted to
that's the
take.
Case, we would just do an incident only, just to let TAC know that there was damage, but we're not gonna do anything about it.
I wouldn't get the vehicles fixed.
Yeah,
I would make sure all the buildings are okay. And I'd get those inspected by TAC. That's what I would do.
is the barn really the only
That's the only
building that,
building that I've heard anything about. Since.
the library looked fine. I did, well, I didn't. All those roofers went by the library as well, and they said it was fine. So nothing damaged.
So we'll just file an incident only report on the road and bridge vehicles. Or we don't even have to do that. I
You don't
mean, we
file
can just let it
anything
go.
Yeah,
It's just cosmetic. I wouldn't do any of that. And then put it back into the department like Angelica. I mean, we'd have to make a claim for that one.
Right.
But if we're on the things of making a claim, I wouldn't do it until the end of the storm season.
like maybe September.
Yeah, just to make sure we get past it. Because we get it fixed and then it happens again, late
You're
July.
you're at another deductible.
If you make a claim, though, you don't have to get it fixed immediately. You can wait. But
we probably don't have a policy that we get a rental car, do we?
No,
I don't think so.
You stick your lights on it and all that. They give you a little fiat.
I got mine and I got one at a Kia Soul that was lime green
Oh, yeah.
for like 3 weeks and I couldn't hide behind that windshield. When people looked at me. That windshield was huge.
Do we need a motion on that, or you want to take any action? Just no action. Do we need to have TAC come out and look at the barn?
Do we have to make a motion for them to come out and look at it, or is that the department head?
That's up to, I mean, I think because you're over the building, that's completely up to you whether you want to file a claim or not.
If you want it done, just say you want it done.
Oh, okay.
She can,
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll File a claim. But mine was more of the vehicles
Right.
because a lot of it is just
Cosmetic.
cosmetic damage, whether. And like, I mean, he did say in the past they had never fixed it, but now that we've got coverage on the vehicle.
Right, it's an option.
Well, when I called TAC, to whenever it happened, they said they were already talking to you guys, so. It was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever I was in Galveston.
Alicia's the contact for TAC.
Yes,
So
yeah,
we go through.
I just tell her, oh, okay.
Okay, so no action on that item. Present. Right, item 11 is to consider and or approve receipt of the Concept 2 rower valued at $950 from Texas Association of County Sheriff's Department. And Marcel is going to speak to that. It's a program that the Wellness Division of TAC with the Healthy County has developed. Carson County is pretty thick in it.
Only have three, so you guys are.
No,
I don't know.
I've got,
Okay, I'm just gonna.
here you go.
Mainly, we're wanting to implement some sort of physical fitness, or physical ability. We're trying to come up with a way. At first, we contacted TAC. Initially, that's sort of we'll approach to like we're gonna do push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that. TAC suggested that we didn't go in that direction, being that it can cause injury. We're gonna do like a mile and a half, things like that. There's a lot of things that TAC was, saying that probably wasn't the best idea. They suggested the readiness for duty program. which can be done off of a DPS model, basically. So I haven't attended the workshop yet. Once I attend the workshop, I'd be able to give you guys more knowledge on that as well. They were trying to get us to receive the grower, and then they were trying to work out when I can go to a workshop. Basically for the first phase, and this is all elective. It's not something that everybody would have to at the time. Especially for the current employees. The first phase, the DPS model, everybody, they would come in, they actually send people in to do the testing for the DPS model. From that portion on, if we decide to continue on in that direction, DPS would continue to assist in it, or we could sort of branch off and go a different route, but regardless, the role would be ours, and we could utilize that for a physical fitness. Rather than having push-ups, sit-ups, run, I mean, we're in it's sort of archaic, but you know, as we want everybody to at least be fitness conscious, so. And
So they provide the rower basically free of charge and then give you the program,
they do.
basically the model and the program to facilitate the use of the rower.
Yes, and they actually send people down to do it
Right.
for the testing portion, yes.
This is gonna be all law enforcement that's under the county and jailers, or just like just sheriff office?
So I would like to include the jail. Haven't talked to Monica very much about it. I know I had mentioned to it. It wasn't something that we went in depth with. Initially, the sheriff was wanting to implement a physical fitness type thing, and it was going to be applied to everybody. So we haven't really went into the details as far as whether or not the jail is going to be. I hadn't talked to Monica too much in depth about it. It's the easiest answer for it.
Okay, I got you.
You'll know more after the seminar.
Yes,
Right.
so yeah, once I go to the workshop, we'll have a better base on it, but pretty much. The first phase, we'll have to take we'll have to take part in with the DPS testers that come down. And from that point, we can sort of decide whether or not we wanted to continue in that direction or change it.
So you're asking the court to approve you entering into this program?
Yes, so TAC actually, I spoke to Stacy Burrington, and she had sent me an email, and it has to be worded exactly like that, like on the agenda.
Yeah.
Or I don't know exactly what happened, but she said it had to be worded exactly like that.
Right. So TAG knows that we approve you all getting the donation of the rower and entering into the program.
Okay, and there's nothing, so is there a contract or something y'all have to sign?
Nothing that
We
we
have
have
to
to sign
sign.
at this point, no.
It's just kind of part, because Stacy, is our wellness coordinator, and she's the one that's been contacting Marcel. It's just part of our wellness program that they're trying to maybe just design this just specifically for the law enforcement portion.
And then once you go to training, I think you kind of said, if you decide that that's not for us, we keep the rower, we don't.
Yes, we can still keep the rower, and we can opt to continue on with the DPS model of the training, or we can sort of come up with our own. Which it really depends on how bad the experience is with the DPS model. If it beats everybody up to that, then maybe we'll
Right.
change it.
But it's not like, I mean, we don't have to pay almost 1,000 to them if you say like that.
No,
To,
no.
it's just, they
So, yes, so this, as long as we take part in it, in the first portion, I go to the workshop, and we meet the requirements, and we get it, then we continue on from that.
Sounds like a great program.
Yeah, it does. How you can go wrong with that?
So-
Seems good so far.
I move to approve the concept 2 rower valued at $950 from Texas Association of Counties Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, thanks, Marcel. All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve the hazard mitigation grant application. Jerry? I thought you were going to throw something up on the screen.
No, I ended up,
Got it.
what you have in front of you is that hazard mitigation grant that TDM has put out. So what this is, back in say 2018, 2019, we were working on a grant through our hazard mitigation plan to put a backup generator at the annex building. And we ran into the Hurricane Harvey, and although we had a siren grant and a generator grant that kind of both got kicked out because of Hurricane Harvey. And we recalled a lot of funding to ship back to the south. So this is one of those ones we kind of had in our little toolbox that we might want to pull out for later. Well, winter storm of 2023, East Texas, they issued a hazard mitigation funding for that event. What happens with hazard mitigation is anytime that there's a threshold met within the state for emergency preparedness response, once we hit a threshold, they'll open up this pot of money for hazard mitigation fund. The first thing you have to do is have to have a hazard mitigation plan in place, which in 2017, we did a hazard mitigation plan for Hutchinson County and got that in place. So now the next step is you can apply for grants and funding for projects like this. Second page, you can see that there's several different things on there that we could actually look at beneath this grant projects that we could look at. If there's something outside of this generator that we want to look at, we can definitely do that. We just got to look and make sure it's referenced in our hazard mitigation plan, which there's, I'm telling you, anything that you can think of as far as hazard in this county that you could probably mitigate something is probably in the plan.
It's very thorough.
The plan itself is like about 160 pages, so there's a lot.
As far as infrastructure retrofit, would the sirens fit that?
So there's two different. One thing with the sirens is the sirens they will fund 5%. It's weird because sirens, this is what we're going to do with our sirens last time. And one of the things that we had in the end of that was they said that they would do a 5% match on the siren part, which is hardly anything when it comes to just it wasn't. You're like, look, so maybe not the siren wouldn't be the best option for this if you're wanting to get funding. So this is going to be a 75-25 grant. But we definitely have to look at whatever if y'all decide to even go forward with a project, we'd have to look at funding that 25%.
What would a generator cost?
Well, I've been talking to Ben a little bit about that one too. And then also Alicia kind of went with her. So one of the problems that we have with, say, the annex is we're going to have the engineering and all that to look at what it's going to take to, first of all, the size of the generator, what we need to put into that building, the actual electrical and all that we're going to have to do. So we're going to have an engineer to come in and look at it and say, what's the size of this? So we had Alicia actually emailed, I can't think of the company. Open Ranges. and asked them about looking at it. They said they would look at it at no cost, but then if we did approve it, maybe seeing if they could get recouped for time later on in the project. So that would be another question. Or
They just didn't want to be out any upfront costs and then the grant be denied.
Right. We don't get to do with the project.
so that was the issue that we were dealing with, going through all that engineering and then, we're not giving you grants.
So the bullet points that you have on here for the examples, are those ones you're interested in? As the
Those
emergency
are all,
manager, or just random examples?
Those are all examples from the state that the state has said, these are.
Oh, okay.
projects
So these aren't ones you've looked through and said, hey, I like these.
No,
Okay.
so that was from the state. The state was giving examples.
Because I didn't know what wind retrofitting for family residents meant.
Yeah, so there's.
I mean, you don't have to answer it since it's not anything we're doing, but what does Jerry want with wind retrofitting?
This
for
gets
family?
is into like there's people that can, I think the last one, there was parking garages and governmental facilities.
That's what the courthouse means.
Yeah.
Parking
They're
garage.
putting parking garages, covered parking.
3-story parking.
Three-story parking.
Fitting windows with Lexander plexi, 4 or 5 windows, things like that. There's all. long as you could justify it's mitigating certain hazards that we have.
You're only interested in the generator bullet point.
Right, so yeah, I'm pulling out of our toolbox what we had last time, which was the generator for the annex building.
Right.
Okay.
And in our hazard mitigation plan, the generator is being that the sheriff's office is located at the facility. It meets some first responder requirements as well, so it kind of moved us up a little bit higher on the list on the generator side. So it's like, which out of these, which is the best possibility that we would actually
Right.
approve? It was the generator for the annex building. Another one is, I know we're having some issues, talked to Ben about this one, it's a generator here at the courthouse. I had emailed our rep at Tatum to see if this would meet a requirement to replace an existing generator. I still have not got an email back from her that would do that. So,
Who would you talk about that probably only approve one?
right.
Right.
Well,
We're not gonna
only if you
fault-
submit two projects, they'll usually go with the cheapest.
Yeah.
And or
The annex is gonna be more expensive than this one just because there's no wiring there, there's no boxes, there's no anything there to hook up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more expensive.
So what was the price range? Like, minus the engineering? Do we have like a baseline? I mean, you didn't,
so when we were looking at it, and I said it wasn't engineered or anything the first time, and this was in 2018. It was 56 to 75 is what they were talking about in the range of.
It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably gonna be more than that.
It's even more than double that now.
100,000 or more.
75-25 split, like 25,000 out of our pocket minimum.
So that would be something else we need to talk about. Budget. But first of all, I needed to see if we needed to start this process with having the engineer at their cost at the beginning to come look at it, if we wanted to apply for it and try to go for this. So it is gonna cost us 25%, whatever that number is, we get down the road.
So are there things and this might be a Marcel question too, are there things in the sheriff office that, you know, the library and the museum, if they lose power, they just go home. It's not a big, I mean, are there things in the sheriff's office or the annex that, I mean, we have to protect power wise, or is there like is that like an operational security type of thing, or?
That's what I was gonna ask you, why do we need a generator?
Just on my end of it, like I said, in the hazard mitigation side of it with it's the headquarters of the sheriff's office, so I could just classify it as it's the sheriff's office primary place of business.
Right.
So,
But is there, I mean, like if y'all lost power, is there something security, is there like a major, like is it an emergency that if there's not power to the annex that?
I wouldn't say that. Security is, but I can, I have to agree, depending on the amount of time that we're out to. Just having access to those files. Things like that.
Okay.
So it really depends on the length of time. If it was out 2 minutes. But it's,
Because I kind of agree, the courthouse, mainly the jail, would be more important.
They have their own generator. That,
Oh, that generator is not a problem? Oh,
It's fine.
it's
Well,
the courthouse.
it's a
generator.
courthouse.
Oh,
generator
okay.
that continues
I
to
assume,
fail us.
I assume they were all tied in together.
No,
Two different generators.
Okay. Because there's people living there, so that's why I was
Yeah.
curious.
well,
But
the
if it's-
jail's under a whole different set of rules, but
Oh, okay.
So the courthouse generator is just in bad shape? Can't
it's not
stand on
bad.
it?
Failing us.
Quality. It's just,
Well, if it gets too cold, it won't start.
it's not what we need. It shouldn't have ever been put in the first place. But
Mm.
it's there.
I race up there and answer for you. So all you need from us to say, let's file for application
yeah,
if we want.
yeah, if y'all want me to look at moving forward with building an application for, and then tell me kind of what y'all want. If that's the generator, then and then
I think a generator's a good idea.
start.
For the courthouse.
Either.
Annex.
Oh,
So we're not committing to we're just pursuing it, right?
Yeah, I just want y'all's thumbs up to say, let's Go and talk to
energy on
the,
that, yeah.
go talk to the engineer,
Yeah, I'd
and
like
go
to
talk to
see-
these people and.
Well, like you told me before, if you apply for the courthouse generator to be replaced and the annex, one of us probably getting thrown out.
More than likely.
Yeah, so we don't want to mess up the most expensive one.
Right. So you can't combine them as one project, like each,
Two separate.
even if it's a
facilities.
generator. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Since the annex will be the most expensive, it's the most logical. to apply.
By far, I think it's gonna be quite a bit more
Oh,
expensive.
it's, yeah. Like a lot of hookups.
Yeah, and when we got that and the ARP money, I think, I mean, it's investing in infrastructure that we might not have a couple of years from now. So I think it's a good idea. I'll move to approve the hazard mitigation grant application.
I'll second it.
Do we need to specify for the generator at the annex?
Well, I just
Is that your amended motion?
think, I mean, he brings it to us again. We have to approve it.
Right.
Gotta approve it in the end anyway.
Okay.
The price and all that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Thanks, Jerry. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve ARP grant project applications. I didn't have any for this meeting. Item 14, consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
Our ground index is still pretty good. I put it on the back page of the report. It was a 59. It was pretty good. Or after a couple of 140 degrees.
Just in time for the 4th of July. So no action on that. Consider, item 15 is to consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. So we have a number of things. We have, Eddie and Roxanne have kind of gone through all the little cubby holes in the courthouse and pulled out all the chairs, all the chalkboards, all the old phones, coffee pots. So we have a number of those. I emailed those to you all. And,
Can I ask a question regarding that?
yes,
Not that list, but
the other list,
the other list, I didn't see it on there.
the county attorney's office list.
The county attorney. Never mind.
What?
No, you're right. That's exactly what I was gonna ask about.
Where it was from.
Yeah, where that
Oh.
was from. I
Oh,
missed
it said
where it was county attorney's office.
So they have a little office
Yeah,
out here that they
that was,
office out
I've
of.
been in there several.
And there's a closet and it just continued to be a storage. You
Yeah.
know, there's like, I think there might even be a manual typewriter in there.
There is. So
Or this IBM electric.
A lot of money.
I did not see that that's from
Yeah, the county
that
attorney.
county attorney. So I was gonna say, I see all these monitors.
Yeah,
There's also a closet over there, but
Russell has gone in there and looked at all this stuff and said, no, we can't use that. Or yeah, we can use that. So there's not anything on here that's usable to us.
Can't use a filing cabinet to the door going open.
It's just all really old and
and there's one closet at the annex that's got a bunch of, well, not a bunch, there's maybe 2 monitors, they're the flat screen monitors. But I don't know who they belong to. They're in that teaching room where we had the safety meeting that day. That little room in there.
Yeah, I don't,
at the end of the hall or the one right as you come in the door?
the one as you come right in the door.
Oh,
I don't know who they.
Break room?
belong to, but
Yeah.
they've been there for about 2 years since I've looked at it, so. I get nosy sometimes when I go in the buildings and open them up. I feel empowered to do that now that. No, they're in that, yeah, that cabinet where I was sitting in that little closet looking cabinet there on the back wall.
Hmm.
But anyway.
The
that's
janitor
irrelevant.
said we were missing a bunch of toilet paper.
Yeah, getting ready for another crisis, you never know. At first I was thinking, was there toilet paper by that monitor?
We just need someone to inventory it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Figure
But
out.
I didn't know who those monitors belonged to.
Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe nobody knows. Dwayne, are they moving some of this stuff out to the barn or
They did a few pieces of it.
is any of this auction worthy or is it just all take it to the dump worthy?
Most of us take.
Take it to the dump worthy. Okay. Okay, so y'all have the list of both.
Mhm.
So do I hear a motion on that?
I move to dispose obsolete office equipment as reported to the court.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 16, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
I have a couple. Carrie Kimmel, assessor collector, presented a certificate of completion as designated professional county assessor collector. She also presented completion of 11 CE hours from the Tax Assessor Collector Association of the Texas 89th Annual Conference.
Now, on the, is it a law or anything that every department head or elected position has to report their certifications to the court? Or is it just a request?
It's what,
Preferred?
it's always been on the agenda.
Oh, no, I'm cool with
Yeah.
it. I like to hear you're going to trainings, what you went.
The only statute is the actual monthly reports that they're required to do. Then that's, that's 21, item 21. Those are statutorily required.
But if they go to trainings, all of their certification they get, that need to come to the court for public record, or it doesn't matter?
I don't know that it matters.
Okay.
We do
Pretty
just
cool.
for transparency.
Well, some of us do. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, try to remember, turn this.
Not me,
It's in.
the elected officials, not the court.
Right.
Yeah. Department heads, yeah.
All right, item 17, consider and or approve request for the use of the club rooms at the Borger Library or Fritz.
There's a baby shower that's scheduled for September 16th, months from now, but we did approve that, so I'll go
Okay.
ahead and that off my calendar.
Nothing for me.
Nothing new? Okay, thank you. Item 18, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
I just had a couple of line item transfers. One was for the approved ARP projects from the last Commissioners Court. And then the approval of moving the cell phone for Constable to Earl's Lane.
Move to approve the line item changes, transfers as presented.
A second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Item 19, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids.
We still have one open bid for the Microsoft Office 365 for the IT. I have no requests.
When's that supposed to close?
The opening of the bids will be on July the 5th.
Okay, okay. And have we heard any more? Because we didn't have anybody submit a bid for the extension department's pickups. You don't,
Anything else from him?
okay. Wasn't there something else that no one submitted a bid on? Oh, the county attorney's furniture. Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do with that. Okay. Item 20, consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County.
Just that check for the camera of the Genealogical Society, is that considered donation that we need to accept, $500?
Yes.
Okay,
We haven't, have we received it?
I have it in my pocket.
Okay.
So that's what I was I was going by there to ask earlier. So I've got 5 of that access security cameras that we installed at the library.
Oh,
Part
they,
of why we kind of need them that I talked about was the genealogy section is needing to be protected. So they donated $500 towards the purchase of that 21,270 whatever project. So I guess I move to approve the donation from the Genealogical Society in the amount of $500.
Second.
okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
And thank you to the Hutchinson
Yes.
County Genealogical
I'll
Society.
send them a thank
I had to
you.
practice saying that, genealogical.
Yeah, that's a word you need to practice.
Big word.
Okay. Item 21, accept reports from elected or appointed officials.
Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted written report for June 12th, 2023 through June 25th, 2023. And Jerry Langwell, Emergency Management Coordinator, submitted his monthly report for June 2023, and they presented them as well.
Okay, thank you. Item 22, discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Anybody got
I
anything?
talked to the engineers. I know what they're gonna cost for the project for the JP and the annex. And I called him and said, hey, we need to get that bid. You need to meet with that contractor. He said, I'll call him. We're supposed to meet already. They hadn't done it. So they were supposed to meet last week. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Still on the project, trying to push it.
If weather cooperates, maybe the roofs will be done end of this week. Don't rain some more.
Museum flooring is done.
No, it looks really good.
And it does look really nice. It's a lot better than
Mhm.
what we had in there. And the library roof is first or second week of July. They're looking at, like Ben said, weather permitting.
Yeah, they did the floor and we moved the car back into
Right.
place with some dollies. Can't air up the tires, they blow out.
Oh, huh.
So we had to engineer it.
Was Dwayne said, we have a lot of culverts going in precinct 2 and just some people moving into the area, which is good. Some people buying the properties and stuff. And I have to say, I really appreciate Dwayne because when they call me, I put him on speakerphone or with us and we kind of walk it out. But it is becoming quite a bit of a culvert call, I mean, weekly. And so we're working on that process, but now I can take some of the burden off Dwayne because I can answer their question. I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit with, I really don't.
Can you
but
put them in now?
I can't put them in.
Get you a shovel.
I can, but don't tell nobody. But so we keep having that come up. And Jerry Langwell and I are working with Jeremy Bland in regards to the septic violations. Jerry contacted me and we were gonna go look last week, but some flooding happened and some things in Perryton. So we were unable to meet regarding the I guess the complaints regarding septic systems out in the area. So Jerry and Jeremy and I will continue to look at that and work on that. I am probably in the next 2 months, I am going to submit to you guys the nuisance reports that when we get properties that are sent to us saying, hey, would y'all look into this as nuisance? But if you guys have any things that you want me to put on that report for us as a court to keep in mind, I'll be happy to put that on there. Doesn't mean we're going to clean them up. It just means we notice that this could be a violation property, and we'll work on maybe a plan of some sort. It may be 5-6 years down the road, but at least we get a plan because as we've all said, there's not enough money in the world to fix all these nuisance properties, but we can eat this elephant one bite at a time. And so.
All right, thanks. Anybody have anything else? Okay, item 23 is to consider and or approve the sale of struck off tax property. We have one property.
I move to accept property as presented in the amount of $250 per lot.
Okay, this is a location in Sanford, 104 First Street. Submitting an offer of 250 has been made by Alicia Cooper. Taxes haven't been paid since 2007 and struck off in 2014.
Just one lot.
Yes,
Oh.
and it's
Well, yeah.
and it's undeveloped. It's
Yeah.
another mesquite tree
Oh,
picture if y'all wanted to see it.
I'll second.
Gary.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's super easy.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Tammy, with all these purchases out there,
Can we
you
get a?
guys should have a large
And,
community out in
let's see
Buckeye.
it.
Get some neighbors.
If they'll start building and developing, y'all should have about
The trouble is-
25 resident increase. It's gonna be barn dominium complex out there. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I personally like
I
it.
think those barndominiums are
Think
cool.
you like
They're nice.
Yeah.
Barntoberfest.
Bondtober, hey.
Little festival, their own little festival. Yeah, you're in charge of that. Okay, anything on the budget? I know Leisha sent out the department request.
Mhm.
Leisha and I are hoping to meet soon, like maybe at the end of this week. Thursday, hopefully, and go over some of those and make our recommendations, and then we'll bring them back to the court and you guys can give us your input and
I haven't seen it, but I must have messed it up because when I looked at that, it wasn't there and I went back. And so my adjustments aren't reflected on this.
oh,
Well, some of them are, but the second one aren't reflected on there. So I did something wrong.
Right.
Hey, is that hard to believe, Leisha?
No.
Well, that even hurts. That hurts me
Said no.
deeply. She said no, and she said it fast, Ben. I'd like the record to state. Said that very fast.
She said it.
Sounded gorgeous.
Yeah.
so Lisa, do you have anything on the budget today?
I don't, like I said in the email, we'll get together and work on plugging in some stuff that we know needs to be there and changes that have come in since the department requests have come in. I've had a few that have come in. I'll make a few changes or something, but we'll get the recommended budget that's what we'll go through and make, y'all can
Guys,
make changes as needed
Yeah,
or
we'll,
whatever.
And going forward, are you wanting us to submit our stuff to you first? I didn't submit anything because we normally talk about it here. What do you prefer?
I would like for it to come in,
Okay.
but I mean, it's y'all's budget, so it's really up to you.
That's how you operate.
Just because I'm OCD and I like to have it all in.
Okay. Next year, I'll try to remember.
Oh, I didn't say.
All. Have all my ducks in a row.
And she's picking
Although
on you.
sometimes it's in this world.
yeah. Okay, anybody have anything on the budget then? Okay, well, we're gonna get going on that pretty quick. We may have to call a special meeting, so you'll be ready. I don't have anything else, okay?
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. Have a second?
Nobody wants to quit.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
You'd have an election.
We die like for like,
Did Chris second?
no.
Said it was gonna die for like,
Oh, it's gonna die for lack of second.
never gonna second that.
Dan,
Yeah, listen.
okay, motion and second, all in favor? Okay,
It'll
meeting
depend on
adjourned,
how hungry I am if.
10:40.
Gets closer to the year, I'm on second.
Yeah, all right, listen.